Okay, I think the video started now. Well, today I just really I'm going to talk about a very, very, very serious topic now. One that's actually really close to my heart and really been affecting me for a while. And it's about what I've been seeing recently about the death rate of women that's been happening in this year. And I think that this really needs to be addressed. This thing really needs to be talked about so that we can be more aware of what's happening, so we can take action, and so that we can stop these senseless deaths, these senseless homicides. Because this year alone, as of yesterday when I last checked, 24th of October 2018, 66 women have been killed. That's 66 mothers, daughters, sisters, aunts, friends. These are 66 human beings who both had a life and a future. Human beings all made in the image of God, and their life has just been taken out just like that. It's these type of stats that I'm really, really not so happy about. So it's with this type of information I'm going to begin this introduction talking about why are so many women being killed. And this video, even though I'm not going to be able to explain every single death, I can give a general answer, maybe like my reason of why I think this happens, because this question that I'm addressing now is actually part of the topic of one of my research into domestic violence and violence among human beings. Because part of the studies I've been doing in social sciences, psychology, human behavior, I've been studying that for quite a while, and I'm conducting research on some of these topics. So I think I should be able to shed some light on top of this. And having finished the course on how to prevent domestic violence against women, course it took over a couple of months just to better educate myself over the situation of what's happening in this country of Australia. I feel like I should be able to better educate us on what's really been happening now. So, like I said in the beginning of the video, what's really been hurting me is that the fact that a lot of women, okay, 66 women to be exact, have been killed as of yesterday. I saw a Facebook post by one of my friends. She was saying that she was just feeling very, very hurt over the fact that this number is quite high. It's quite high for any demographic, and that's not good, because one death is one death too many, and it's not something that we want to be seeing on the regular. We want to get these deaths down, because we're all human beings. We're all human beings. We all have a right to live. We all need to have that right to live, and we all need to have freedom of expression, freedom of movement, a basic human right. Okay? And I just wanted to discuss some of those things in this video. Okay. This these stuff this topic really prompted me when I came across that to look at some research that I've conducted before, and to bring that up again, and to do some more research to actually try to figure out some more of the stats and statistics about what's been happening. And I was surprised, and I was very, very shocked to have discovered that last year alone, 175 homicides were committed against women in this country of Australia. That's about 3 times more. That's almost 3 times more than what's happening now. Last year alone. I know it's gone down from last year, because this year is almost over and the numbers have gone down drastically, but 175, that's still a huge number to wrap your head around. Because no one's ever going to imagine It's at that level, at that gravity. And what's even worse is that when it comes to, it's a big number. It's a big number. And what's even worse is that when it comes to women in relationships, women are 3 times killed at a rate of 3 times more than men in an intimate relationship. So we get the numbers of all the men that have been killed in an intimate relationship, we multiply that by 3, and that is the number of men that, that is the number of women that are being killed. This is not good. This is not good at all. These statistics are frightening me, and I hope that they're frightening you, and it's encouraging us to do something about this, because this really cannot be going on at all in any way, shape, or form. I'm not going to stand for this. I'm not going to even sit down for this, and I'm really going to do everything that I can to prevent this, and I'm going to address some of those ways at the end of this video, what we can do, what we can all be doing together to curb these statistics, to get them down, because that's not good at all. Okay. Yeah. But what's even more frightening than these numbers is the huge elephant that's there in the room, because not only part of these deaths included woman-on-woman kills as well, such as the instance where up to 6 women ganged up on one woman and took that precious life away. But the elephant in the room is looking at the other side of the picture. And the other side of the picture of the female counterpart, the male. What's happening to them? And obviously I did some research into that, and these ones really shocked me, because last year alone, 312 is the number of men that were killed last year, homicides. These are men-on-men kills and women-on-men kills as well. This is a very, very frightening statistic. Looking at this, especially myself as a male, it's not good at all. I'm looking at some of the different stats from last year, because, as you know, 175 women were killed last year. 312 men were killed last year. Putting those numbers up, you see that amounts to 36. That amounts to 36 women. 36% of women were killed, and 64% of men. When it came to all the total homicides, you bring that together. 36% of that is male casualties, and 64% of that is 36% of that is female casualties, and 64% of that is female casualties. And this really puts the whole scenario of what we're doing in a much greater, much broader perspective, allowing us to be able to analyze this data in more different ways. Because we see that this problem of this homicide is not limited to only women, but it's also affecting the male counterpart as well, and which increases the severity of this problem to a much broader range than it was initially thought of. And these type of things is what keeps me up at night. I'm trying to question why do people do this? I have a proposal of why people do that, and that's addressed at the end of this video. talking about what can we do about this? Why is it even done in the first place? And what can you do as a person to prevent some of this stuff that's happening right now? As we look on to even some more of the statistics that were brought up from last year, the years 2012, 2014, and still up to now, we see that of the total homicides that were committed, 83% of victims who were killed by an acquaintance were male. 92% of all homicide victims that were killed by a stranger were male. This is terribly, terribly, terribly frightening statistics, because what this is telling me is that I always knew it was a little bit like unsafe, but it's really hammering it home now, like how much we really need to be doing as a society, as a people, to try to get some of these things right. To try to show love and care for our fellow neighbors so that we do not come across these statistics on the regular, that we can actually move on from this stuff. But what even surprised me more was, let me get some of this, places that I wrote some of the data. Here it is. Okay. So what surprised me more is some of the mathematics that I also did to come to some conclusions about this year's statistics based off of last year's statistics and how that matches off to what is actually happening. Okay. So what I saw happening, my brother and myself, we continue doing research, as I said, and this is what we had come up with this little thing. You can't see that too clearly here, so I'll just pull it up much better. Okay, so basically, as we can see here, 36% of 36% of all fatalities were women, and that amounts to 56. Okay, and then just doing some simple mathematics, we manipulated the numbers, and then we got that the total amount of people that were killed from this were 155 people last year. That's not correct, because the total amount of people that were actually killed last year were 478. 312 of those were male. Sorry. These are predictions for this year. Predictions for this year of total amount of people that will be killed this year. Okay, my bad. So prediction of people who will be killed this year is 155. 155, and of those 155, we found that 99 of those people would be male. Just 155 minus 56. So then that just gives us this number of men. Population minus the women, that's 99. 155 minus 56, that gives you 99. So what we actually saw is that these stats actually did not match up with what was happening, because as of the time when we were using the data, that 56 number was correct. That 56 number was correct, but then it increased to 66, as I had said, and the actual number of men that were killed as of the same time yesterday as well is 106, not the 99 that we had predicted, but 106. Now, I look at these statistics and I frankly, I can just say that I'm not surprised. And if I'm not surprised, that brings up two questions, as in, like, why aren't I surprised? And why would I do this research if I knew exactly what I would be getting out of it? Why would I do this research? Well, the answer is that I've done this research before, and I know what the answer is. That there's going to be more male casualties than female casualties. One of the reason that I've not done this type of video before in the past is because it's just something that I just put at the back of my mind. I just didn't really think too much of it. To me, it was kind of like the norm. It was kind of like the norm that, okay, men are being killed like a lot. Okay, so what? Okay, let's move on. Let's do something else. But then lately I've been seeing like a lot of posts about the amount of women that are being killed, and I'm thinking, but that's not really showing everything. That's not really showing everything that's really happening right now, because. And I just wanted to educate some of these people so that we can understand the fuller picture of what's happening. We can help each other, and that's all that's needed. And that's part of the solution, is helping each other in love, helping each other in humility, helping each other as brothers and sisters. And that's what we need really. That's what we need a lot more of, to be honest. And if we don't have that, we're never going to improve from where we're at. We're just going to stay the same. And these same frightening statistics we're going to have year after year after year. Nothing is going to change. And I do not want that to happen. I don't want that to happen at all. So then that really brings up the question of what can we do to prevent this? Like, what do we do? What do we do now? Okay, so basically answering the stuff like, what does this mean, and what do we do now? And so what this means is that not much people actually know the actual situation of the depth and the gravity of the situation of these homicide rates, because yes, sure, these are not good or nice figures. No one likes these. One death is one death too many, but everyone, I feel like everyone should know and be educated and into the full extent of how this is really affecting every single Australian here, because not only is it affecting men, it's also affecting women on also an equal level. And this needs to be really looked at. And the solution I'm feeling from what I've done, from the research that I've come across, is that these type of crimes, these type of disregard of human life is only done when you actually disregard human life. When you treat a human being as if they are not a human being. When you dehumanize a human being. When you dehumanize someone, you can do anything to them. And it's that type of attitude that we're having, because when we fail to recognize the humanity in the humans that are around us. The solution to this is to understand that people around us, they are brothers, they are sisters, they are made in the image of God. Just as the Bible tells us, we have been made in the image of God, and we need to show the same love and the same compassion to those who are around us, so that they can understand and also have the same love of Jesus Christ that we have. And that there is the only solution. It's to love other people the same way that you would love yourself. Because the people who commit these murders, from the same statistics that I've acquired, less than 20% of these people have been prior offenders, which tells us that most of them, 80% obviously, are first-time offenders, which means that something must have changed in the initial offense. They must have then had an instant where they had forgotten who they are and who these people are, and they went against their distinct human nature to preserve life. And as we've learnt, all life is precious. We must take care of it the same way we take care of ourselves. If you fail to do that, we fail to take care of ourselves, because once we project something that isn't good to someone else, we're actually doing that to ourselves. Not anybody else, but to ourselves. And you really need to think about that. What this has basically told me is that all the times my mum was always told me that I need to make sure that I get home safely and everything like that. Like she was right. Like it was actually more dangerous for me to be out there late. My parents were doing the right thing, calling me up, knowing exactly where I am, knowing everything like that, because it's very, very dangerous. It's even more dangerous out there, being a man. And I'm just taken aback, because I'm just lost for words right now. There's really nothing else we can say. I'm going to continue doing my research and try to figure out what more we can do to shed some more light into what's happening, so we can better understand the situation and how it affects the socio-economic discourse of the Australian people, and how it also affects the different demographics and a different gender, and what we can do about it. So I just want to end this note on stay safe, stay on the journey, love those who are around you the same way as you would love yourself, the same way that you want to be treated. Make sure you treat other people that same way. And my ending screen has really never been more appropriate than this video. Stay safe. Bye-bye.